The only structure remaining from the original 7 wonders of the world is the Great Pyramid. It was constructed as Pharaoh Khufu's burial tomb. The pyramid may have one or more rooms or passageways made out of the newly discovered emptiness, but the researchers are unable to say for sure just yet. Why? The particle detectors did not reveal the void's precise dimensions and shapes. We are going to explore some of the most mind-boggling stories, technologies, and cars from all over the world. We will explain the questions who, what, why, and how. Eager to unveil those? Stay tuned to Explained. The discovery was made by researchers utilizing sophisticated equipment that is generally reserved for particle physics experiments. The detectors searched through particles pouring through the thick stone of the historic building. This investigation uncovered a previously unidentified void. Since the 19th century, just a small portion of the approximately 4,500-year-old Great Pyramid's interior has been uncovered, including that mysterious chamber. Is this a coincidence, or was it planned by the ancient Egyptians? The star constellations visible in space were taken into consideration when building the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid's 4 corners, which are actually stars, stand in for the 4 corners in outer space. 2 right axes are used in the construction of the Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius Great Pyramids. The location of Earth's center can be determined by looking at a map of the entire planet. Is it a happy accident or a deliberate planning? It is now a question of how, given that they only recently learned that the Earth is spherical and that it was once thought to be flat. The ancient Egyptians knew the location of the planet's center. Technology was quite advanced 4.5 thousand years ago, or perhaps it was influenced by a different civilization. The Great Pyramid's coincidences go on and on. The pyramid structure depicts the 4 cardinal directions and has one end that is parallel to the North Pole. Even though there is a small inaccuracy, it is also the result of Earth's tectonic plates shifting over the course of 4.5 thousand years. After all, how did they acquire such a thorough understanding of navigation? The Giza Great Pyramid is a masterpiece of engineering. Its sloping triangle walls are at a 52-degree angle to the ground. There was no way to enter the pyramid because its inside was so effectively constructed. In the pyramid, tunnels have been built from one location to the other, although their purpose is unknown. A theory titled Orinoco Relations Theory was published in 1989. 3 stars with the names Al-Natak, Al-Nilam, and Mintaka are located at the Orion Belt in the sky. It is truly a big mystery why these pyramids like this were built, as they line up these 3 stars in the Orion Belt with the Great Pyramids of Giza. Was there any involvement from the other civilizations as well? The ancient Egyptians worshipped Osiris, whom they thought to be the god of birth and death, who gave birth to the soul once more after death. According to the Egyptians, these stars on Orion's belt were where the god Osiris resides. Whatever it may appear to be, it's a coincidence. Because all the pyramids on the planet were constructed over the same time period, it appears that these structures were constructed in accordance with a carefully thought out plan. How is it possible that, at the time, they lacked both a mode of transportation and technology that would have allowed them to communicate with civilizations on the other side of the planet? However, there are still pyramids on Earth that were constructed during the same time frame. It appears that either this technology was extremely advanced 4.5 thousand years ago, or we received assistance from a culture in another world. We are working to find answers to the numerous unanswered questions that have persisted since the historians of 4.5 thousand years ago, as it appears that their work is missing some connection. Now, why were the pyramids built? Are these tombs for Egyptian rulers? At the time, were they structured foods? Were they involved in any scientific studies at the time? Was it a force to be reckoned with? There are numerous such questions, but no precise responses. However, contrary to popular belief, burning the corpses of people was not a practice in ancient Egypt. There, it was customary to present a dead body as a mummy before placing it in a tomb. Because of the coating, they can be protected for indefinite periods of time. The ancient Egyptians actually did this because they thought that the life persisted beyond death. For this reason, they used to preserve everything that was required for survival, including food, clothing, jewelry, weapons, and animals besides their dead bodies. The main pyramid is thought to be the tomb of the Egyptian king Khufu, while the other pyramids are believed to be the tombs of an ancient Egyptian monarchs with mummies interred inside. Assuming that the Egyptian pyramids represented the tombs of the ancient rulers there, the question is why no mummies or coffins have ever been discovered in any of the pyramids in Egypt. This demonstrates that the pyramid is something other than a mausoleum, and that there was some other specific reason as to why they were created, as this has been the point of discussion. So guys, aren't you surprised to know these facts about the Great Pyramid? Do you want to know more? If you haven't already, then please subscribe to our channel and do give us a big thumbs up. Thank you. Now let's move on to the video. To make these pyramids, wet sand was used to reduce the friction. Stone blocks had to be transported to the location and set in place after arriving at the port of Giza. Pulleys and wheels were not employed in this process. Here, experimental science has offered some helpful hints. As proved in 2014 by a group of physicists led by Daniel Bonn of the University of Amsterdam, soaking the sand just enough to reduce the friction and consequently the effort while hauling a sled with a large weight. The crucial information came from the ancient Egyptians themselves. A painting on the tomb of Jehuti-Hotep from 1900 BC depicts a group of men pulling a statue along a sled while someone in front pours water on the sand. Bonn saw a useful answer, whereas the Egyptologist saw a ceremonial gesture. In accordance with his research, the ideal amount of water is between 2 and 5% of the volume of the sand. This creates capillary bridges between the grains that lower the coefficient of friction. According to Bonn, the majority of Egyptologists I have spoken to concur with our explanation. So far, everyone appears to agree that it is a highly credible explanation for what occurs in the tomb artwork. With sand that is comparable in composition to that of the Nile and comprises clay and silt, the physicists and his associations have duplicated their initial investigation, validating their findings. The Great Pyramid's construction team had to overcome more significant challenges than just moving the stone blocks. They also have to lift the blocks to the final resting place. The director of the Semitic Museum at Harvard University, Egyptologist Peter Dermanwelian, told Open Mind that, quote, "Scholars mainly agree on a system for ramps for pulling the blocks. The directions, angles, and materials are still challenging, and there is always fresh interpretations." End quote. While French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin created a model with a spiral ramp that runs through the structure's interior, Lehner presented a spiral ramp supported on the pyramid, like a road that ascends a mountain. Perhaps the most recent physical studies of the Great Pyramid structure can provide further information concerning this query. A potential unidentified cavity was discovered in 2017 by the multinational initiative Scan Pyramids, thanks to the use of muography, a method comparable to radiography. Egyptologist Kate Spence of the University of Cambridge believes that the cavity's location and inclination indicate that it may have served as a ramp during construction. Also, cylindrical structures were used to move the blocks. Whatever the ramp's construction, carrying such a massive item up the hills must have been a difficult operation. However, perhaps it would have been easier if the Egyptians had employed the approach outlined in 2014 by Indiana State University physicist Joseph West. Other experts have suggested using cylindrical wooden structures to enable the rolling of the blocks, but West's idea, which was developed for a project for his students, is noticeably more straightforward. The block's square part is converted into a 12-sided polygon by attaching 3 wooden posts to each side of it. This makes it possible for even one person to roll a big block. According to West, the results were really interesting and hopeful. In this subject, I believe that large-scale experimentation is crucial. The physicist laments, however, that it is frequently difficult to secure funds for extensive experimental investigations that can shed light on how the ancient builders made it with the constraints of their primitive technology. The Ward family of Leeds is promoting one significant initiative that is now underway in the United Kingdom. An experimental system like Houdin's ramp or West's dodecagon will be tested during the construction of the 50-meter tall pyramid that Earth Pyramid, a company founded in 2008, plans to erect by 2025 at an undisclosed location. This pyramid will function as a time capsule for 1,000 years. Maybe today's science holds the key to solving the mysteries of the past. And that is all for today's video. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, consider subscribing to the channel to watch more informative content like this. Check out other videos on our channel and we'll see you in the next one. Also, refer to other videos on our channel for more content and we'll see you in the next video.